Am I the asshole for refusing to meet my niece because of her name? Hey Reddit. I've been a lurker for years, the kind who scrolls through drama and heartbreak like it's a Netflix series I don't have to pay for. But today, I need to be the one who posts. I need to tell my story. Not for karma, not for pity, just to get it out of my chest before it explodes like a shaken soda can someone left in the freezer too long. This is the story of how I lost the love of my life, and how my own brother, my own flesh and blood, reopened that wound in a way I never, ever saw coming. Let me take you back. I was 29 when it happened. It being the kind of thing you see in movies. The kind that wrecks you down to your bones. That leaves you staring at ceilings for hours asking the universe, why the hell would you do that to me? But before we get there, you need to know who Anna was. Anna wasn't just my fiancée. She was my person. We met in college, one of those chance encounters that feels scripted by fate, like the universe took a coffee break and decided to spice things up for once. I was in my junior year working at the campus library part-time. She came in looking for a book on postmodern literature. I faked knowing where it was. She called me out on it with the sweetest smirk I've ever seen. That was the beginning of everything. We were together for 7 years. She knew my favorite cereal. I knew which side of the bed she hated. She'd make playlists for every month, filled with music she thought I'd like, even if it included the occasional Taylor Swift deep cut. I cooked breakfast every Sunday morning badly, burnt eggs, oversalted potatoes, the works, but she'd eat it anyway and kiss my cheek like it was gourmet. She gave me a necklace once, a small silver piece, nothing fancy, with a tiny star etched on the back. She said it was because I always found a way to make her feel safe. That necklace hasn't left my neck since. Not once. Even now, it rests under my shirt, a quiet little ghost that clings to my chest. I was going to propose to her in the fall. I had the ring. I had the plan. Her favorite trail in Vermont, where the leaves turn fire red and gold in October. I had this whole speech rehearsed. Something about how she made everything feel like home. Something cheesy, I'm sure, but heartfelt. God, it was heartfelt, but I never got to say any of it. 3 years ago, she died in a car accident. Just like that, she was on her way to her niece's birthday party. A drunk driver ran a red light and hit her side of the car. The impact killed her instantly. I got the call while I was folding laundry, the most boring, mundane activity imaginable. 1 second, I was trying to figure out where all my socks were vanishing to, and the next, my world was splitting open. I still remember how my knees gave out. I didn't cry at first. I just sat there, phone in hand, breathing like I had forgotten how lungs were supposed to work. When the tears came, they came hard, like someone opened a faucet behind my eyes and broke the handle off. The funeral was a blur. I remember white flowers, rain, people hugging me like I was made of glass. I remember looking at her photo in that stupid frame, her laughing on the beach, sun in her hair, and thinking, this can't be real. She's just at the store. She'll text me soon. But she never did. Now, let me explain something important. My younger brother, Jake, was never particularly close with Anna. Jake's 3 years younger than me. The golden child, if I'm being honest. Captain of the high school soccer team, voted most likely to charm a cop out of a ticket. He's always had that casual, breezy kind of charisma. The kind that makes waitresses smile too long and gets him job interviews he didn't prepare for. Anna, on the other hand, was structure. She liked plans, schedules, order. She was kind, incredibly kind, but she had a backbone of steel. Jake called her uptight more than once. He teased me about dating a robot in a sundress, which pissed me off to no end, but I'd laugh it off because, well, he was my brother, and family means letting stuff slide, right? Still, they never clicked. Family dinners were cordial at best, awkward at worst. Anna tried. She always tried. But Jake never really... They invited me over to meet her. I brought a stuffed bear and a basket of those weird organic snacks new parents like to pretend they enjoy. We made small talk, caught up. Then Jake cradled the baby in his arms and said, "We wanted you to be the first to know. Her name is Anna." Silence. Not Annabelle. Not Anya. Not even something remotely derivative. Just Anna. My Anna. Same spelling, same pronunciation, like someone pressed copy-paste on my memories and dropped them into a screaming pink bundle of newborn. I froze. The room went quiet, but my brain started screaming. Loud, white noise kind of screaming. I must have blinked 100 times. My throat closed up. My palms went cold. I felt like I was underwater, distant, hollow, detached from everything around me. I managed a stiff nod, maybe even a smile, but inside, I was breaking. On the drive home, I couldn't stop thinking, why her name? Why that name? Out of every possible girl's name in the world. Every flower, gemstone, color, virtue, historical queen. They chose Anna? I tried to convince myself it was a coincidence. Maybe Serena had always loved that name. Maybe it reminded her of someone else. Maybe Jake forgot what Anna meant to me. Unlikely, considering he was at the funeral, crying like someone had just told him his Xbox was being repossessed. Or maybe he did it on purpose. And that's the part one hate admitting to myself. The part that keeps me up at night. The part that makes my heart race with a kind of betrayal I never expected from my own brother. Because here's the thing. Jake knew how much Anna meant to me. He may not have loved her, but he knew. He saw me fall apart. He saw the necklace. He saw the shrine of pictures in my apartment. He knew I never stopped loving her. So why would he choose that name for his first child? Was it to mess with me? A weird act of reclaiming her in some twisted, passive-aggressive way. Was it Serena's choice and he just went along with it? Or was it just carelessness? I don't know. I really don't. But what I do know is that it feels like I've lost her all over again. That every time I hear about baby Anna, it's like a needle under my skin. Like someone's taken the memory of my fiancé and taped it over something new. Cheapening it. Rewriting it. I haven't confronted Jake yet. I've barely been able to sleep. My texts to him are short, dry, avoidant. He probably thinks I'm being weird, but I don't have the words yet. So I left off with Jake dropping the name bomb like it was just another casual line in a birth announcement. I stood there in that sterile hospital room, clutching a basket of teething crackers and organic lotion, staring at the tiny little bundle wrapped in pink, feeling like the walls were closing in. Then came his line, the one that cracked the surface of my restraint. I thought it was a beautiful name. Figured you'd appreciate the tribute. A tribute. He said it with that smug little grin he always wears when he thinks he's being clever. Like he just solved a puzzle no one asked him to touch. I honestly think he expected me to clap. There it was, not just the name, but the justification. As if slapping the word tribute on it turned the whole thing into some kind of touching eulogy instead of, I don't even know what. Theft? Desecration? Emotional vandalism? Took everything in me not to scream. Not to throw the stupid bear on the floor and walk out swearing. But I didn't want to make a scene in front of Serena, who looked tired, proud, and oblivious. I didn't want to shatter whatever illusion of peace was still floating around the room. So I just nodded, and I left. No congratulations. No, she's beautiful. No, I'm so happy for you. Just silence. I drove home in a daze. I don't even remember hitting the turn signal. I don't remember the drive. I don't remember parking. I just remember walking into my apartment, sitting on the couch, and staring at the necklace around my neck like it was burning into my skin. The next day, I called my mom. Now, let me set the scene here. My mom is, well, she's the kind— Yes, she said. Jake meant it kindly. You should feel honored that he thought enough of Anna to name his daughter after her. Honored. Could have laughed. Could have thrown my phone across the room. Instead, I just sat there, stunned, listening as my mother explained to me that I was the one making this weird. That I was the one turning a beautiful gesture into something selfish. That I should be proud. Proud? Of what? That my fiancé, who my brother couldn't even stand, was now being paraded around in the form of his newborn daughter like a charity badge? She kept talking, but I stopped listening. Her voice faded into static. All I could think was, have I entered some kind of upside-down universe where basic human decency is a conspiracy theory? There's something I haven't really talked about yet. Something I didn't even realize I was protecting until this moment. Grief is sacred. It's ugly and brutal and lonely, sure, but it's yours. It's the last thing they leave you. After the body is buried, after the condolences fade, after people go back to their lives and the flowers die in their vases. Grief is what you have left. It's the echo of love, the thread connecting you to what once was. And Jake took that. He took Anna, my Anna, and turned her into a name on a birth certificate. A diapered, wrinkly bundle that would now learn to crawl and walk and go to school and say things like, "Uncle, my name. Can I have a cookie?" Using her name. He dragged her out of the quiet space in my heart and stuffed her into his narrative. His legacy, his family, and the worst part, everyone's okay with it. The next few days were weird. I got texts from friends and family saying, "Did you hear? Jake and Serena named the baby Anna. Isn't that sweet?" Sweet. They all assumed it was some kind of coordinated tribute. Like Jake and I had sat down one evening over beers and said, "Hey man, if you ever have a kid, slap my dead fiance's name on there for the vibes." People started tagging me in Facebook posts, "Welcome to the world, baby Anna," with little hearts and doves and hashtags like #FamilyFirst. Family first? Really? Is that what this is? I didn't respond. Couldn't. Every ping of my phone felt like a punch to the chest. I avoided Jake. I didn't return calls. He finally sent me a message that said, "Dude, what's your problem? I thought you'd appreciate the gesture." The gesture? Is that what we're calling it now? Stealing someone's gravestone and spray painting "You're welcome" on it? Couldn't sleep. I kept having dreams. In one of them, I was walking through a park with Anna, holding hands. The sun was shining. Her hair was catching the light the way it used to. We were laughing, talking about a trip to Spain we never got to take. Then suddenly, a stroller rolled between us. I looked down and saw a baby. She looked up at me and said, "Hi, I'm Anna." And just like that, the dream shattered. I woke up gasping, sweating, mourning her again. Grief is like that. It doesn't leave. It just waits, lurks, and when someone opens the wrong drawer in your memory, it comes flooding out like a tidal wave you thought you'd already survived. I started looking at baby name lists online, just to prove a point to myself, to convince myself that I wasn't being unreasonable. Do you know how many girl names there are? Thousands. There's Aurora, Penelope, Eliza, Juniper, Sloan, Isla, Maeve, Violet, Zara, Eleanor, so many names. But he chose Anna, not by chance, not by fate, not by accident, by choice. That's what keeps spinning in my head. He chose her name, my Anna's name, and expects me to take it like a compliment. A week after the birth, I got invited to a little family brunch to officially welcome baby Anna. I didn't go, couldn't. I sat on my couch, necklace in hand, trying to figure out how I'd explain this to her if she were here. What would Anna say? Would she be flattered? Offended? Heartbroken? I think deep down she'd feel what I feel, that her memory has been rewritten without her permission, that the sacred has been made casual, that something private was broadcast without consent. Jake might call it a tribute, call it a theft. It happened at our parents' house, a few days after I skipped the brunch. My mom was hosting a casual Sunday dinner, the kind where everyone shows up in sweatpants and grazes on casseroles like cows at a buffet. I hadn't planned on confronting Jake there, but something in me snapped the second I saw him walk in, holding his newborn daughter like he was carrying a fragile ego boost. The second I saw him call her Anna, I felt like I was being punked again, like this entire family had decided my grief was an inconvenience they could name around. So I pulled him aside into the hallway. The kitchen was full of clinking silverware and passive-aggressive casseroles, but in that little hallway, between the family photos and my childhood drawings, I finally said what needed to be said. "Jake," I started, trying not to shake, "what you did was cruel." He raised his eyebrows like I just accused him of keying my car. "What are you talking about?" "Naming her Anna. You know exactly what that name means to me. And after everything you used to say about her, feels like a joke. A sick one." He scoffed. actually scoffed, like I was overreacting to a parking ticket. Dude, it's just a name. Get over it. The world doesn't revolve around your dead girlfriend. I swear, for a second, I saw the walls breathe. That sentence hit me like a slap, no, a punch. A cold, calculated punch straight to the chest. There are things you don't say, even in anger. That was a permanent bridge burner. My hands clenched. My ears rang. And for a moment, I don't even remember speaking. I just remember hearing myself, like someone else had taken the wheel. You're not welcome at my place anymore. Not for dinners. Not for holidays. Not for anything. My apartment, my rules. If you want to name your daughter after someone you never respected, fine. But you don't get to play happy family with me like none of this matters. He blinked, stunned. For once, he didn't have a smug comeback. He just stood there, mouth open, like someone had finally kicked over his podium. And I walked out, didn't wait for dessert, didn't say goodbye, didn't care. By the next morning, it had hit the family group chat like a nuclear bomb. My mom texted me first. You had no right to ruin dinner like that. Then my dad. Could have handled that better, son. Then my aunt, of all people. Jake told me what happened. You're being a drama queen. It's a beautiful name. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I wanted to scream into the group chat with a voice memo that said, "Let me come name my dog after your dead husband and see how you feel." But I refrained. Everyone had suddenly closed ranks around Jake, the golden boy. I was now the angry, bitter brother who couldn't be happy for the baby. Never mind that I never asked for this. Never mind that I've spent 3 years quietly grieving, wearing this necklace like a lifeline, keeping Anna's memory alive without forcing it down anyone's throat. But the moment I dared to say, "Hey, this hurts me," suddenly I'm the villain. Here's the thing people don't get. Anna wasn't their friend. She wasn't theirs. She didn't spend Sunday brunch chatting with my aunt about Pilates or swap recipes with my mom. She was my person. She was mine. And I don't mean that in a creepy, possessive way. I mean it in the way grief works. When you lose someone you love like that, their memory becomes a private sanctuary. You keep it in a glass case in your heart. You take it out on quiet nights and talk to it when no one else is listening. So when someone storms in and decorates that sanctuary without permission, when they graffiti your grief with tribute, like they're doing you a favor, it doesn't feel kind. It feels like a home invasion. Since that day, the family has started treating me differently. Subtly, quietly, but definitely. I've been left off dinner invites, skipped in the group photos. When I text in the chat, I get one-word replies. My mom even told me to be the bigger person and apologize. Apologize? I'm sorry that my fiancé died and that I haven't learned how to be numb about it. I'm sorry that my brother decided to play name that grief and I didn't smile on cue. I think not. Even Serena sent me a message. A long one. She said she had no idea how much Anna meant to me. That Jake told her I'd moved on years ago, and that the name was purely sentimental because he always thought Anna was graceful. 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 Jake? The same woman you called uptight at Thanksgiving because she used cloth napkins? I didn't even know what to say to Serena. She looked so genuinely apologetic. And part of me wonders if she's just collateral damage in this. If Jake pitched her a version of Anna that never existed because it was easier than admitting he resented her. Either way, the damage is done. I've made my decision. Jake isn't part of my life anymore. Not now. Maybe not ever. I've blocked him. I've muted the group chat. I've told my parents I won't be home for Thanksgiving. I told them they're free to love baby Anna with all their hearts, but they'll do it without me. I didn't bury Anna just to have her memory exhumed and paraded around like a baby shower decoration. That may sound harsh, but if I don't protect her memory, who will? Because clearly, no one else is interested in honoring it the right way. They want me to be the villain? Fine, I'll wear the cape, but I'll wear it on my own terms. It started with a phone call from my mom. I knew it wasn't going to be warm and fuzzy when I saw her name pop up on my screen and felt my stomach clench. You ever get that cold dread in your gut where you instinctively know a conversation is going to wreck your day? That I picked up anyway. Foolish, I know. She didn't waste time. No pleasantries. No, how are you? Just "You're being a selfish jerk." The words hit me harder than they should have. Not because they were new, honestly, my mom has never been great at filtering, but because of what she was talking about. She wasn't mad that Jake said what he said. She wasn't mad that he made a joke out of Anna's memory. She was mad that I didn't show up for the baby. "You're punishing an innocent child over your inability to move on," she said. I sat there in stunned silence, the phone pressed against my cheek, wondering how the hell we got here. When did the conversation stop being about what Jake did and start being about how inconvenient my grief is? I tried to explain calmly. I told her again, "I'm not mad at the baby. I don't hate the baby. I never said anything about the baby. I'm angry about the decision, the intent. The name wasn't plucked from a hat. It was aimed like a dart." She didn't care, just kept steamrolling. "This is what Anna would have never wanted," she said. "She wouldn't want you to alienate your family." That one got me, not because it was true, but because it was manipulative as hell. Don't use Anna as a guilt puppet. She's not here to speak for herself, and the woman I knew, the one who made tiny origami cranes when she was anxious and cried watching commercials, absolutely would have understood why I'm hurt. As expected, my dad stayed out of it. Classic. When I called him after the blow-up, hoping maybe, just maybe, he'd step in as the voice of reason, all I got was, "You and your brother need to work it out." I'm not taking sides. Not taking sides? There are sides, Dad. One side lit a match. The other said, "Hey, I'm on fire. But sure, let's both just cool off. In our own time, like this isn't a fire," someone said on purpose. Then came Aunt Janice. Let me tell you about Aunt Janice. She's the kind of woman who turns every birthday card into a sermon and signs texts with her name every time. Like I might forget who's texting me. She actually called. On the phone. Like it was 1999. "Sweetheart," she began. "I say this with love, you need therapy." I blinked. She kept going. "You're clearly still holding on to a lot of anger. I think you should sit down with a professional, process this, and then apologize to Jake before it ruins your relationship forever." Apologize to Jake, the man who took the name of the woman I was going to marry, someone he barely tolerated, and slapped it on his kid, not out of love, but out of ego. I wanted to ask Aunt Janice how much Jake paid her to be his PR team, or if this was just a generational curse, where grief is only acceptable if it's quiet, polite, and doesn't interfere with casseroles. Then came the cherry on this emotional Sunday. Jake made a Facebook post. Yes, Facebook, because of course he did. It read, and I quote, "Grieving people can be toxic. Just because you've experienced loss doesn't give you the right to control other people's happiness. I'm done letting others shame me for honoring the people I love." Followed by a photo of baby Anna, swaddled in pastel, looking up at the camera like the unwitting centerpiece of a morality play. I swear I lost 10 years of mental peace in a single scroll. And the likes? Oh, the likes. People I haven't spoken to in years chimed in with heart reacts and comment section sermons. "So brave of you to say this. You're such a good dad." People need to stop gatekeeping grief. Gatekeeping grief. That one nearly made me throw my phone into a lake. And then the direct messages started rolling in. Old classmates, distant cousins, people I barely know acting like I tried to name my own child Voldemort out of spite. "Grow up. Let the baby have her name. She's gone. You're still here." The casual cruelty of people who think 3+ years is the statute of limitations on heartbreak is astounding. Like love has an expiration date, and if you're not over it by now, you're just being difficult. So yeah, I've never felt more isolated in my life. Not even right after Anna died. Back then, people brought casseroles and hugs and long, tearful phone calls. Now they bring judgment. Now they bring keyboard lectures and unsolicited therapy recommendations. I'm the villain in a story I didn't write. And Jake? He's wearing the victim cape like it's Gucci. Meanwhile, I'm over here just trying to make sense of a world where your dead fiancé's name can be repurposed like a decorative throw pillow. And if you say, "Hey, that hurts," you're accused of being emotionally manipulative. And the worst part? They've all made it about them. I'm not allowed to grieve the way I need to. I'm supposed to grieve quietly, grieve efficiently, grieve like I'm folding laundry, neatly, privately, without disrupting the household. And if I don't, then I'm the selfish one. Here's what they don't get. It was never just about the name. It was about what the name represents. It's about how Jake never respected Anna when she was alive. How he'd mock her seriousness. How he'd roll his eyes when she talked about climate change or poetry or the fact that she used a bullet journal. He never knew her, never tried. And now he gets to wear her name like a sentimental badge and act like he's honoring her memory? No, he's honoring his version of her. A filtered, repackaged, Facebook-friendly version that fits his narrative. And I'm not required to smile and clap just because there's a baby involved. You don't get to hurt someone and then cry foul when they bleed in your direction. It's been 2 weeks. No calls, no texts, no updates from Jake. Just silence. The kind of silence that's louder than shouting. The kind that hums in your ears when you're lying in bed at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering if you made the right choice, or if you just pushed someone away for good. And the truth is, I don't know. I've started seeing a grief counselor again. Different one this time. Someone new, someone outside the orbit of friends and family who already have a stake in the story. Someone who won't tell me I'm being dramatic or that I should feel honored. And you know what? It does feel like I lost her again. Not in the tragic, one phone call and the world ends way, but in this slow, suffocating kind of way. Like someone took her memory, scrubbed it clean of context, and repackaged it as something else, as someone else. I know logically that baby Anna is innocent. I know she didn't ask to be the symbol of this family fracture. She's just a baby, bright-eyed, blameless, unaware of the war her name started. And I hope she never has to know. I hope she gets to grow up happy and loved and completely separate from this mess. But I also know that every time I hear her name, a part of me flinches. Because to me, it's not just a name. It's her name. It always will be. I miss my brother. That's the worst part of all this. I miss the version of Jake who used to sneak snacks into the movies with me, who drove me home after college parties when I had too much to drink, who helped me paint the apartment Anna and I moved into, badly I might add, but he still showed up. That version of Jake had flaws, sure, but he had empathy. He understood boundaries. He respected me even when we didn't see eye to eye. This version, I don't know him. This version posts about toxic grieving on Facebook and plays martyr while tossing emotional grenades. This version turned a sacred part of my past into a branding opportunity and expected applause. I don't hate him. I just don't know him anymore. And maybe that's the most painful part. So here I am, Reddit, sitting in the stillness, holding my grief like a photograph in a storm, trying to figure out if I made the right call.